Ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing? Shawn White here on a late night edition on a Saturday evening here in Atlanta, Georgia. And before I even jump into this topic, it has been really a very productive day to say the least. From doing the show from the Small Business Network with my partner, Dr. James, and with our amazing co-host, that was very exciting to just really just networking and connecting with other like-minded individuals, coming all the way down to the Circle of Love United meeting, in which that was indeed powerful with our very special guest, Miss Janet Mack. I can tell you guys it has been a very eventful and productive Saturday. So do me a favor, guys. As you're tuning in, do me a favor, if you will. If you catch this on the live, put in hashtag live. Let me know, guys, exactly where you're tuning in from. And if you happen to catch this on a replay, because again, I know it's a late Saturday evening, especially over here on the East Coast, go ahead and do the same thing. First and foremost, can you guys hear me pretty good? I just want to make sure that my volume is pretty good because I'm actually on the Bluetooth headset. So I want to make sure that you guys can hear me pretty good. So if somebody can put in the comments, let me know if you can hear me pretty good. That would be amazing. We have here Miss Ethel Jackson. Welcome. Can you do me a favor, Miss Jackson? If you can hear me pretty good as far as with the volume, you can just put in the comments. Just let me know if you can hear me well. I just want to make sure because this message that I actually have, and by the way, really just spontaneous, spur of the moment thing. You guys know me. If I find something that's very impactful, inspirational, I like to be spontaneous with the message. But I want to make sure that the volume is good. So again, if somebody can just put in the comments and let me know that the volume is very clear, you guys can hear me very good, I would definitely appreciate that if somebody can do that. And if not, then I will have to assume that everything is great. But I want to go ahead and jump into this segment, and I titled this, Who Here Feels Like an Underdog? And I really got that inspiration, if I can be more transparent, because I was watching an interview earlier with a basketball legend, Magic Johnson. And the reason why I bring that up is because of the fact there was a lot of different things that was taken away from that interview. And I loved on how the way that he stayed committed, he stayed focused, he was humble in terms of his roots. But yet he had an underdog mentality. He was the type of person growing up, along with as far as having a solid foundation, that he had to prove his doubters wrong. And that drove him and fueled him to become the best, right? The greatest point guard has ever played this game. And if you're a sports fan, you know exactly who Magic Johnson is. We have Dr. James, my business partner in the house from the Small Business Network. Welcome, my friend. I appreciate you for jumping in and tuning into this message. To segue that into the topic in which I mentioned, do you feel like you're an underdog? If you're like me, especially growing up, you had people that would doubt you. They would say either that you're too short, you're too skinny, you don't have as far as the quote-unquote connections, you're not cool enough, whatever the case may be, fill in the blank. And for myself, I would have to, more times than not, prove as far as that I was capable of doing the job, right? It didn't matter as far as that because I was a straight A student. It didn't matter because of the fact that I was gifted academically. I had a parent, my mother, in which that she strived for excellence. If it wasn't straight A's, guess what? It wasn't acceptable. So with that, it actually drove me into being an underdog, more so that, you know what, I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove each and every single one of you wrong. And with that, a lot of times that fuel alone I was able to channel that into a positive. Now, there's been certain other occasions as well, as you can imagine, it didn't go in the right manner. But how many of you that is listening to this live stream that ever felt like you was in a position where you were the underdog? Where when you're in a room, and I want you to visualize and imagine this, that you're in a room of, say for instance, 10, 20 people, and everyone is talking, and you say something, but it's like that people just disregard everything and wish that you say, and you feel small. My introverts know exactly on what I'm talking about. Or you see others doing something and you do it, and it's like that you get ridiculed or criticized for it. Underdogs, a person that's an underdog, they have a certain drive. They have a certain passion. There is something different about that man or woman. Because with an underdog, they're going to go the extra mile. They may not be gifted in this certain department, but they know through hard work and tenacity and with a solid work ethic, they will get to their destination. That's the reason why we love movies such as Rudy, as an example. If you know the story of Rudy, on how he was a walk-on at Notre Dame. And from being a walk-on, he was actually considered as a legend because he did all the dirty work. Rudy, he wasn't gifted athletically, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't even the smartest heck on the team. But what he had was a work ethic and a drive, and he just wouldn't give up, folks. And in 2023, you being that underdog that you are, man or woman, you understand that it's going to take a certain level of dedication. It's going to take a certain level of drive, of practice, of repetition. And that alone, by you being an underdog, is going to fuel you. You are a person that doesn't need extra motivation. You don't need extra inspiration. But when someone comes at you and says that you can't do something because you're not smart enough, you're not the right skin color, you're not the right weight, height, you come from a different demographic, a different neighborhood, you, man or woman, say, oh really? Watch me. And you'll go to work. And you'll work silently. And you'll work behind the scenes. And you allow for your work to speak for itself. I know I'm talking to somebody here, and I know it's late here, but you guys are getting the message indeed. Do you feel like an underdog at times? I know I do. And yet, I believe that's the reason why that I have the drive, that I have the commitment and the passion that I have. You see, when I was gifted with the talent of speaking, to be able to connect and resonate with different walks of life, I wasn't those type of individuals that I can just literally go anywhere and light up a room. I didn't have this natural ability to be able to come on camera and be able to hold an audience and be able to articulate myself in the manner in which that I can do as of right now. I had to work at this thing. I had to spend hours and hours and hours, and I had to learn, and I had to study, and I had to emulate, and I had to learn different techniques in order to harness this craft. And even to this day, I still do the same thing. Why? Because of the fact I was always labeled as an underdog. And I know there's men and women that's listening to this and saying, yep, that is definitely me. And I've been debating on this all day. And I would like to know your comments as well. I've been thinking about doing a series titled The Underdog Series. And I've been thinking, should I do it solo? Or should I invite people that feel the same way like I do? That feel like as far as they was the underdog. And they felt like as far as that they was the black sheep. And yet they had to constantly always prove something. Not just to people. Forget about that. But more so proving to themselves that they got as far as what it takes. And I know there's men and women that's out there that feel the same exact way that I do. And I've just been thinking about that and contemplating on that. I think it'd be pretty cool. What do you guys think? What do you think? If you feel that would be ideal, by all means, just drop that in the comments or send me a message and say, hey, Shawn, I think that would be amazing, my friend. I really, really think so. Because there's an underdog in each and every single one of us. And if we truly embrace that and accept that, man, there's so much greatness that can come out of that. So much of that. How many of you feel like that? That you have something to prove? That your work is unfinished? You have unfinished business in this world, in this community, that you have a level of expertise and a skill set that is needed to come out and to flourish. Will you join me in the making of the Underdog series? Because man or woman, the world needs to know what it feels like to be an underdog. What it feels like to be counted out. What it feels like as far as again, yet you fall down, but yet you rise and you just say to the world, guess what? I'm still here. You punched me around a number of times like a punching bag, and I'm like this going left and right. And yes, I got a whole bunch of speed knots and everything. And yes, I may have as far as the scars and the wounds as far as to prove it. But yet I'm still here. And I'm still alive and kicking. And guess what? I'm getting better and better and better. Because you just won't back down. You just won't back down. Maybe it's just plain stubbornness. Maybe it's resilience. Who knows? But the quality of an underdog is that you have a mission and that you have a mark. And I'm going to go ahead and close with this, guys. Let this be the year, your year, the underdog, the champion that you are, the king and queen that you are, to rise, to elevate. Make it happen. Connect with the people that you need to connect with. Do the events in which that you need to do. And take it to the next level. I'm curious on how many people will really respond as far as to this live stream. And if you know me, I'm speaking in such a manner because I'm looking for that man or woman. I'm looking for them. That's the underdog that resonates with this message. And that says, Shawn, you are speaking my language, my friend. And when can we collaborate to make this series happen? That's what I'm talking about. So if anyone got any value from this, by all means, please feel free to drop a comment or just send me a message. Let me know if this resonates with you. If you believe that someone needs to hear this, by all means, please go ahead and share it out, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But until then, family, if what I stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, and may God be the glory, and we take no credit for absolutely none of it. Yes, I said we take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. By His grace and mercy, look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Until then, peace and love, family. Thank you so much for your time. Good night.